Alright guys, hey, welcome back to Worship Guitar Sounds. Today we're going to look at my HX Stomp pedal board. I know I did a update on 2020 for the Strymon Iridium, and I've moved away from that to this board here. I want to talk you through some of what I've got going on here. We can listen to some sounds, and yeah, throw your questions below. I definitely want to answer any questions you guys might have. So let's jump in. I've got a couple of different patches I'm going to go through. I've got a Vox AC30 patch. I've got a Fender and a Vox on the left and the right. I've got a Fender Deluxe reverb. Those are really the three that I work on. I'm going to start on the Deluxe reverb sound and then also show you some of the other things that I do with the HX Stomp. So before we go into anything else, let's talk about signal flow, and that starts with the guitar. So this guitar is a Suhr HSS Strat. It's totally stock. It's got the SSV in the bridge and the 63s in the neck and the middle position. Yep, so that's this guitar, and I've had this since about 2018. So the pedal board starts with the Polytune 3. Do have the buffer on, and of course this is on all the time, so I can always get a tuner whenever I want it. That comes down to the Ego compressor. Ego comes over to the Morning Glory, to the Kilt V2. Kilt V2 has the red remote attached to it, and I'll show you some uses that I have for that in a moment. Then that comes to the volume pedal, and then out from the volume pedal to the input here on the HX Stomp. HX Stomp then has the effects loop, stereo effects loop. I've got that starting into the timeline, stereo out to the Big Sky, and stereo back in to the HX Stomp. Then out from here, I've got stereo outputs to underneath the board. I've got a Pinstripe Pedals Daiso Plus. And that gives me a ground lift if I need it, and I can also sum to mono with a switch here in the back. This is all being powered by a True Tone CS12, and I do have to have a couple adapters to make this work with the CS12, but otherwise I've had no issues. So let's go ahead and jump in. Let's just listen to just the amp sound off of the HX Stomp. Okay, so this is a deluxe reverb. It's the vibrato channel, and I am using a Tone Junkies Alnico Silver. All right, with some compression. All right, let's go to some hall reverb with that. Cool. Let's hear the Morning Glory on it. So not a ton of drive on the Morning Glory. We can kick that up a bit if we want. Cool, so that's Morning Glory. I like to keep it down so I can stack. Let's hear the Kilt. Some other tricks that I like to do with the Kilt. So this gain 1 switch you can leave up, which adds a different gain stage to it. Which that on its own just sounds awesome. Alright, so, but then this turns on the G2 section. You can hear it kind of getting noisy. This makes it into a fuzz. So that sounds like this. So cool. So I use that on Holy Water, and of course it's got a really cool slide part to it. Sounds like this. Cool. And let's take a listen to these stacked together. Again, not too aggressive, but plenty for what I need. All right, I'm going to skip the timeline of the Big Sky. I'm not going to go too deep into those just yet. Let's go ahead and listen to some other amps. So this is the Vox AC30 patch that I've got. Let's look at it first. It's the SX30, and I'm using the David Hislop Silver 5, which this doesn't really tell you the whole picture, because I know his naming conventions are pretty long, but it's one of the silver. I think it's a 545, 121, 50-50 mix, and on its own sounds like this. Here without that delay. Cool. And over to the Fender Vox sound. This has something unique going on where I went ahead and put the timeline in the Big Sky before the amps. It sounds like this. So if I was doing rattle, I'd probably have this drive on, this kicked up, so I could get to that fuzzy sound if I wanted to. That would sound like this. Alright, next let's move back to the Vox. I want to stack some pedals on this one here. So let's just hear it on its own again. Alright. Morning Glory. And with both. I'm going to go back to the Fender Deluxe Reverb, and I'm going to grab my Eric Johnson Strat. So the very first pedal board video I ever did on this channel was with this guitar. Now this guitar is bright, lower output, and man, I still love it. Let's listen to it. Alright, with the Morning Glory. With both. Alright, let's listen here. It's the AC30. And the Fender and Vox sound. Let's hear it. Okay, so let's end here on the Vox AC30 sound, and I'm going to show you a few of the sounds that I have tied into the HX Stomp. These are kind of my catch-all. You know, I need to be able to do a trim, a chorus, or some sort of pitch sound. So here's the dual pitch that I use. You can also set this up on a momentary switch, so I could just reach up and touch it to go to an octave, which is a pretty cool effect if you want to do that kind of pseudo without an expression pedal whammy thing. Here's the trim that I'll use. Take some of that gain down. sound really nice if I'm doing big swells. So let's hear that. And over to the chorus. This is supposed to be kind of like a CE1 sort of thing. So you'll have a chorus on just one side, not the other. Without it, just hear that swell. So that's that sort of thing. It doesn't have a ton of headroom, so you kind of get that scratchy thing, which can work in a mix. Okay, so over to the deluxe reverb, just real quick. I did remember that we had a different chorus on this one, so here's what that sounds like. And then on this one, I like a nice fast tremolo, so that's what's on here. Well, hey, I really appreciate you guys stopping by and taking a look at the update that I've done to my pedal board for 2020. Any questions you guys have, throw them in the comments below. It's tough for me to make a ton of these videos just with the amount of work that I do outside of this, but man, I love making them for you guys, and I love getting to spend some time walking through some of this. Any questions, please put them in the comments below. I try my best to answer, and if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. Do videos like this as often as I can, and of course hit that bell notification so you know when a new one's coming out. Hey, hope you guys are having a great week, and we'll see you on the next video. Take care.